Bonjour, c'est Claire à French in the Midlands. This video is about the future tense, which is how to say going to and will. Just like in English, there's two ways of expressing the future, and I'm going to show you both today. So first of all, let's have a look at what a verb actually is. It's a doing word, such as parler, to talk, avoir, to have, partir, to leave. Basically, it's any word which makes sense when you put I or you in front. In French, there are two parts in a verb, the stem, P-A-R-L, of parler, and the ending, which is the E of parler. Now, the ER ending is your English equivalent of the to in to talk, except in French we stick it to the end, and that's the only difference really. Which is why when you say I talk, you have to remove the ER, because in English you don't say I to talk. So it's the same in French. First, let's have a look at the immediate future. It's going to, basically. It's much more used in French than the actual future tense because it's easier. All you have to remember is the different forms of aller in the present tense. Then you put the verb in the infinitive and you're done. So these are the different forms of aller. Je vais, tu vas, il, elle or on va, nous allons, vous allez, il or elles vont. Remember, nous is not really used in speech. So you can kind of skip it if all you want is to speak French. If you don't want to write it, use on va instead of nous allons for we go. So remember the structure. Aller plus your verb in the infinitive, which is equivalent in English to going, to do this, to do that, to eat, etc. Let's have a look at some examples. On va partir demain. On va partir demain. We're going to leave tomorrow. So you see here, on va is we are going, partir, to leave, demain, tomorrow. So your to leave is left as is in English as well because you got the to instead of leave. Going to leave. On va partir. It's actually quite easy for once. It's exactly the same as English. Ils vont arriver samedi. Ils vont arriver samedi. They're going to get here on Saturday. Have you seen how much shorter it is in French? It doesn't happen very often. That's because ils vont is they are going. Arriver means to get here. Samedi, on Saturday. In French, we don't say en samedi or le or nothing. It's just samedi for this Saturday. If you say le samedi, it's every Saturday, so it doesn't mean the same thing. Vous allez manger tout ça? Vous allez manger tout ça? Are you going to eat all that? Vous allez, are you going? Manger, to eat. Tout ça, all that. And our last example, je vais aller au cinéma. I'm going to go to the cinema. Je vais aller au cinéma. Je vais, I'm going. Aller, to go. Au cinéma, to the cinema. Some people, when I ask them to translate that, forget aller. So they say je vais au cinéma, which actually means I'm going to the cinema, but I'm going now. It doesn't mean you're going to go. So remember, you've got to have exactly the same structure in French and English for that. Now, before we move on to the actual future tense, I just want to mention my ebook about verbs and tenses, which will provide more detailed explanation and a complete verb tables plus lots and lots of practice. You can get it at frenchinthemidlands.com/ebooks HTML. Now for the actual future tense, it's more complex, which is why we tend to prefer the aller plus infinitive form, the going to form, if you like. This one is where you use will in English. In English, it's very simple. Just slap will between the subject and the verb and you're done. In French, not so. What you've got to do is you've got to slap a different ending on the end of the actual verb to make it future. So here your template is the whole of the verb with the ending, so with the to in front, if you like, plus future, which is very unusual. Normally, you take the verb with the ending, you chop off the ending, and you add something else. On this occasion, you keep the whole thing, and you will add to that. As a result, your future endings, your future verbs in a future form are very long, which is why also we tend to use aller plus infinitive. We prefer that. Also, please do not ask me how to say I will, because unless you give me the verb you want to use after it, it doesn't mean anything. There is no translation for I will in French. If you say I will eat, then I can tell you, but not I will on its own. Let's see some examples of that. Let's have a look at all endings for regular verbs. It's quite easy, to be fair. It's just remembering to keep your whole verb as the stem. Manger, to eat, that's your ER ending. Je mangerai, I will eat. So manger is still there as a whole verb. And then you've added AI. So if you ask me, what's the will bit in I will eat? It's actually the AI at the end of manger. On mangera, we will eat. The will of that is the A at the end of manger. Vous mangerez, you will eat. The will is the EZ. Ils mangeront, they will eat. The will is the ONT. Does that make sense? Let's have a look at this. Here's some more examples for different endings. Verbs in IR, like sortir. Je sortirai, I will go out. The will here is the AI at the end of sortir. Descendre, to go down. Je descendrai, I will go down. Notice we've removed the E at the end of descendre because you don't need it. We don't like the clash of two vowels, remember? So you don't need E and A. Just an A is enough. Je descendrai. Makes it easier to say as well. Now for irregular verbs. This is where it gets quite annoying because I'll give you 4 examples here. 4 of the most common ones. The problem is you don't just keep that one and add an ending. The whole thing changes. That's where they're irregular. Avoir becomes j'aurai, I will have. On aura, we will have. Vous aurez, you will have. Ils auront, they will have. You see that the will is still the ending, AI, A, E, Z, O, N, T, but the stem has changed from avoir to AUR. No reason why, it's just the way it is, you've got to learn it. Être, to be, becomes je serai, I will be. So the stem has changed to SER. On sera, we will be. Vous serez, you will be. Ils seront, they will be. Aller, to go, becomes j'irai, I will go. On ira, we will go. Vous irez, you will go. Ils iront, they will go. And then, of course, absolutely indispensable, faire, which is to do or to make. Je ferai, I will do. On fera, we will do. Vous ferez, you will do. Ils feront, they will do. And that concludes today's lesson. Give us a like if you found this video useful. Subscribe for more like this one. And remember, you can claim your free ebook, The 12 Golden Rules of French, by clicking the link in the description. À bientôt!